Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video.
Today we're going to look at a function that's surprisingly nice and simple, even though it has a really crazy complicated definition. So let's define f of x to be the arctan of cosine of alpha minus cosine of alpha x over sine of alpha x minus sine of alpha. So how can we approach this? Perhaps you'd like to apply some trigonometric identities to simplify what's inside this inverse tangent. And in fact, that is an approach that we'll take in just a bit. But before we do that, I'd like to analyze this function by considering its derivative. So let's see what we get. We'll have f prime of x is equal to, so we need 1 over 1 plus the argument of the inverse tangent squared. So that's going to be cosine of alpha minus cosine of alpha times x all over sine of alpha times x minus sine of alpha quantity squared. But that function is composed within this inverse tangent function, so we have to apply the chain rule as well, which means we need to multiply this by the derivative of this inside function. We'll calculate the derivative of the inside function using the quotient rule. So let's recall that will give us the denominator squared in the denominator. So we have alpha x minus sine of alpha quantity squared in the denominator. And then in the numerator, we'll have the derivative of the numerator. So that gives us sine of alpha x times alpha, given the derivative of cosine is negative sine, and then times the denominator. So that's going to be sine alpha x minus sine of alpha. And then from that, we subtract the derivative of the denominator times the numerator. So the derivative of the denominator will be alpha times cosine alpha x times, like I said, the numerator. So that will end up being cos alpha minus cos alpha x. And we ran out of room there, but I think that's okay. Okay, so now let's see how this can simplify. So this denominator squared here will multiply through to this other denominator, canceling out this sine alpha x minus sine alpha and building this 1 up to, well, what we have over there. So let's see, we'll have 1 over. Now let's simultaneously multiply all of these things out. So we'll have sine of alpha x squared and then minus 2 sine of alpha x times sine of alpha and then plus sine squared of alpha. So that's what we get from squaring this term right here. And then we'll have the cosine type term squared as well. So what will that leave us with? We'll have the cosine squared of alpha minus 2 cosine of alpha x times cosine of alpha plus cosine squared of alpha times x. So that's what we get in the denominator. And then what will we have in the numerator? Well, it'll be the expansion of all of this stuff right here. So let's see, that's going to give us alpha times sine squared alpha times x, and then minus alpha times sine of alpha x times sine of alpha, and then let's see, minus alpha times cosine of alpha x times cosine of alpha plus alpha times cosine of alpha x quantity squared. So we have that. And now we have a couple of instances of the Pythagorean trig identity. So here we have alpha times sine squared. Here we have another alpha times cosine squared. So those will add up just to plain old alpha. Okay, that's good. Then here we have, well, we can't really do anything with that, but every term in the numerator is an alpha, so we might as well factor it out. That leaves us with 1 from the sine squared and the cosine squared, and then minus sine of alpha x times sine of alpha minus cosine of alpha x times cosine of alpha. So that's what we're left with in the numerator. Now let's see if we get any simplification in the denominator. So we have our sine squared of alpha x here, and we have a cosine squared of alpha x here. So those will add up to 1. But then we also have a sine squared of alpha and a cosine squared of alpha. So those will add up to 1 as well, meaning that we get a factor of 2 in the denominator. But we've got these are also attached to a 2, so we can factor that out. So factoring that out, we'll have a 1 from the sine squared plus cosine squared happening twice. And then we'll have left over sine of alpha x times sine of alpha minus cosine of alpha x times cosine of alpha. But check it out, this thing here in the numerator will cancel this thing in the denominator, and we'll be left with the constant alpha over 2. So if f prime of x equals alpha over 2, then that means f of x equals alpha over 2 times x plus some constant. A constant which happens to be the original function evaluated at 0. So let's put in f of 0 here. So there we have it. Our function, which has this crazy definition, really simplifies to the equation of a line.
Whoa there. Before we continue, we need to thank today's sponsor, Squarespace. As fans of the channel know, I love my generating functions, and Squarespace is kind of like a generating function. It's a website that makes websites. Or more precisely, a website that takes the hassle out of creating a website. The HTML, CSS, PHP, CMS, figuring out the domain, yikes. That's why you and I need Squarespace. Squarespace is the easy way to create your very own professional website using simple drag and drop actions with access to code if you need it. They also have domain services to get your site online quickly. I use Squarespace for my own website, and I find it easy to use with plenty of integrations. For example, they have a plugin for LaTeX that I use to make writing equations much simpler than trying to find and format each symbol at a time, or trying to use pictures. Whether you're blogging about your neighbor's garden or creating a professional space to show off your portfolio, Squarespace has the tools you need to keep your website modern and easy to use. So what are you waiting for? Go to squarespace.com/MichaelPenn to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain using the code MichaelPenn. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Now, where was I?
That being said, let's go ahead and evaluate this using another method. So for our final analysis of this function, we're going to use the following 2 trig identities, which you can get by looking at the sum angle formulas and then taking appropriate linear combinations. So we have cosine of x minus y minus cosine of x plus y is equal to 2 sine x sine y. And then we have sine of x plus y minus sine of x minus y equals 2 sine x cosine y. Okay, so in fact what we want to do is apply these to our equation up here where we have, let's see, x plus y equals alpha, and then x minus y equals alpha times x. Well, that's for the first one. So that's for that one right there. And then we'll apply it to this one right here where we have the opposite choice. Okay, so in other words, for this one, we'll take x plus y to be equal to alpha times x and x minus y to be equal to alpha. So something like that. So now plugging all of that in here, we'll get the following expression. So we'll have the arctan of, and then this numerator will collapse to 2 times the sine of alpha times x plus alpha over 2 times the sine of alpha times x minus alpha over 2. And I guess I should say that these are our values x and y when we solve this for x and y. Okay, and then in the denominator we'll have 2 times cosine of alpha x plus alpha over 2, and then the sine of alpha x minus alpha over 2. Again, and that comes from these boxed equations where we solve for x and y. Okay, but now let's note that we get quite a bit of simplification. So this sine cancels this sine, and then this 2 cancels this 2, and then of course sine over cosine is equal to tangent. But in that case we're using the fact that the arguments are the same. So this leaves us with the arctan of the tangent of alpha x plus alpha over 2. And you might say, well, the inverse tangent and the tangent just cancel each other, but they don't. They cancel each other if the argument is between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2, but otherwise you're off by a multiple of pi. And so let's just point that out. So these will cancel down to alpha x plus alpha over 2 if alpha x plus alpha over 2 is on the interval minus pi over 2 to pi over 2. But for instance, if alpha x plus alpha over 2 is on the next interval, so in other words, we have this quantity is on the interval pi over 2 to 3 pi over 2, then you don't get this expression. You in fact get the expression alpha x plus alpha over 2 minus pi. So you have this shifting involved. Okay, so what would the graph of this be? Well, between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2, we have this line here. It has a slope of alpha over 2, and it has a y-intercept of alpha over 2. But between pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2, we have a line with the same slope, but a different y-intercept. So if you put all of these things together, you get a picture that looks something like this. So that would maybe be the graph in this first region. And then after that, you get this periodicity. So let's see, we'll have something like that for the second region, and then so on and so forth in both directions. So you get this nice like sawtooth type wave. And that's a good place to stop.
Thanks for watching and sticking around until the end of the video. And since you're here, don't forget to gently press that like button, subscribe, ring the bell, and select all notifications to never miss a video. If you want to get your name in the credits like you see here, access the live seminar series, review videos before release, and more, go to patreon.com/michaelpennmath and become a Patreon member today. If you want full ad-free course content, subscribe to my second channel, Math Major. I've got courses on linear algebra, complex analysis, and proofwriting, among several others. And that's everything. Bye.